Hey guys, Amber here. I'm coming at you with a weekly reading vlog of sorts. So I've got this idea from several people who have been doing weekly reading vlogs, but I also saw Pages and Pens. I forget what her name is. I'm so sorry, but she does monthly reading review vlog type videos. I just forgot my words there, but she does monthly reviews in vlog style, and I thought I could combine that where I would do like vlogs, share a little bit of my life, what I'm currently reading throughout the week, and then also through that time when I finish a book, I can directly talk about it, or if I've finished watching a film, I can directly talk about it, and that way you kind of get an idea of what I'm watching, what I'm reading, and my thoughts on it right there, because it just feels a little bit natural for me to do it this way than to do it sit down style, because I always feel a little bit awkward and staged doing that. So I feel like this is a little bit more natural. I feel more easy talking like this. I hope that it shows as you're watching this. I just hope that somebody, whoever may be watching this, is getting something from it, whatever that may be. But in the end, I am hoping that this will bring me out a little bit more, because I'm very shy and I'm very awkward. So I'm hoping this will help me in that way. But I thought for now that I would review a film that I just watched last night, and that was Jack Reacher starring Tom Cruise. This is about this man named Jack Reacher who is very invisible, but then he shows up when somebody he used to know, he
They'll be accused of this mass murder. Well, not mass murder.
a serial murder. There you go. A serial murder, and he ends up investigating this alongside a defense attorney, and I really enjoyed this film. It gets about 3.5 stars out of 5 for me, because I do think it's a little bit predictable and all that, but I did enjoy it with a lot of entertainment for me, just a lot of fun entertainment for me, and Tom Cruise did a pretty amazing. He's hit or miss for me. I think that he can tend to do a lot of cliche, predictable stuff, but he is a good actor, and I think that he does his roles superbly. I did kind of feel like the style of this way that they filmed it was a little bit weird to me, that at the beginning especially was a little bit wonky. I didn't really care for it. I know that there's some issues with like how he could have easily done certain things in a more simpler fashion, and they just over complicated it, but I enjoyed it. There's that. I also wanted to talk about the books that I finished this week, because I started back up a job that I had ended up leaving because of certain things, and then I started it back up, and so my schedule has been wonky, so I should have had a weekly wrap up for you guys Thursday, but because I'm trying to figure out schedule wise at that time, I just didn't have it up. So I have several things to talk about. I finished The Mothers by Britt Bennett, and that's about a 17-year-old Nadia, her best friend, and a boy, I think, who's named Luke, and it's about the secret that they carry through their lives. Now, I really enjoyed the writing, and this is her debut novel, so you have that, but it's a really strong debut novel, and I really liked the writing, and the story itself was intriguing and interesting and kept me hooked straight through. But I did find that there was some issues with it, mainly with the fact that because she jumps years a lot, you never really feel like you get any character development, any character growth, and you never really see the growth happening. You just kind of see them at that time, and you never stay long enough to really get that development to understand where they are at that time. And so I never really got to know these characters really well, and the plot, because of that jumping around, I never really felt we got a full understanding of the effects of that secret and how it changed them in any shape or form. But there was one thing that I really did enjoy from this book the most, really, was the perspectives of the mothers, as they're called, who are these mothers of the church that all these three go to. And I really enjoyed the perspective, even though they didn't really serve much of a purpose. I felt like they were just there, and at the end they became a tool to kind of pass along information that could have easily been told through the perspective of these main characters. So even though they didn't really add anything to the plot or the characters, I did really enjoy them because there's these they're older people giving you perspective of, you know, their lives, and I just really loved their collective voices. So then I had to give it 3 stars. I definitely look forward to reading more by her. Then I DNF'd Ruby by Cynthia Bond, which is one of my TBR books. I am really disappointed that I ended up DNFing this, not with myself, but because I did not like the book. I don't like magical realism, and I don't remember anybody who reviewed this book that I watched or read talk about the fact that it was magical realism. If I had known that, I would never even pick this book up because magical realism and I don't get along, and I was really bothered through the book because of that. I can never wrap my mind around magical realism. I can never understand it, and I can't suspend my disbelief with it. So I DNF'd it. Otherwise I would have really enjoyed this book. I think I was really enjoying the writing, and I loved Ephraim, and the story overall was interesting. It's just that element of magical realism that really got to me that I just couldn't take anymore. So, like I said, I DNF'd that. The one thing that I am most happy and I'm proud to see that I finished is Alexander Hamilton by Ron Chernow, which I've been reading since July. So it's been almost 6 months of reading that book, and I finally finished it. I am so happy, and it would have never have happened if it hadn't been for the fact that I was listening to it through Audible. I don't understand what made me not like audiobooks for so long, but I would have never finished it if it hadn't been for listening to it instead of actually reading it. Because I was only reading like a couple pages a day at the beginning, and I just couldn't bear to read further because there's just so much information and so much to learn, and I just couldn't do it reading it physically. I don't understand how that was, but listening to it, I got the information, and I got it in a faster fashion. So my goal was to finish it before the end of the year was done, and I accomplished that. So I'm very happy and proud, and I'm very happy and proud that I was able to actually finish this because I tend to give up when it comes to these massive biographies. I've tried Washington by Ron Chernow earlier this year, never could finish it. I actually have it again, and I will be listening to it through Audible this time, and that's not going to happen until maybe later in the next year because I need a little bit of a break from nonfiction, at least nonfiction of this massive size. So my thoughts, I really did enjoy learning more about this man who seemed to cause a lot of his own troubles. He was very reckless and impulsive, and he could speak hours upon hours, but the problem was that he could never seem to know when to stop or when to actually speak and when not to speak. And he was such a brilliant man. He created a lot of the foundations of our country, and he worked about the Constitution. And so I do believe that what he did for this country was an amazing thing. But I do also think that a lot of things that have happened to him could have been avoided. But I also do think that a lot of people are just so cruel to him, and a lot of times unnecessarily and unreasonably so. I just didn't understand the vehement attitude against him that a lot of people had. I will say that Chernow did such a great job of not being biased. He showed the good and the bad sides, the positive and the negative sides of Hamilton, and I really enjoyed his writing style. And I think the narrator, I will put who he is up here somewhere, did such an amazing job in telling the story. That being said, I gave the audiobook 5 stars. I gave the book itself 4 stars because I do think that he tended to go on a little bit too much, especially when it came to talking about people who weren't Hamilton. I think at times he could have easily cut down certain things that he was talking about, and therefore would have maybe cut down a little bit of reading time for me also, but I just didn't feel like it was all that necessary. But again, I gave it 4 stars. I am currently reading A Man Called Ove by
Frederick Frederick Hackman.
Backman? Frederick Backman. There we go. And I'm really enjoying this read. I am loving Ove, although he's a grumpy old man. His grumpiness just makes him more endearing to me. I don't know what it is. I just like those kind of characters, and there's just so much more to him than just that, and I'm really enjoying his story so far. So hopefully that continues on. I'm also listening to Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. I thought I would listen to them this time. I'm enjoying it, but I don't particularly care for Jim Dale's interpretation of the characters' voices. I find myself getting a little bit irritated with how he voices them. Like, that's just not what they sound like to me, and I just kind of wish that either they had voice actors for the people, for the characters, and he just, did the rest or something like that, or else that he just wouldn't try to voice them at all, because it just annoys me a little bit. But I really am enjoying reading it through listening to it on audio. Anyways, that's all I have for now. I have to go to work like now, and my noodle is tearing up paper on the ground, so time for me to go. Ciao. Hey guys, so I just got back from walking Noodle and work. So I had to actually go back to her place because I forgot my wallet. And that was just a nuisance because I really hate the idea of wasting gas in that fashion. But I am back. I wanted to film walking Noodle, but I totally spaced on that, and even had my phone with me, and I just had to get used to the idea that I'm going to be vlogging things a little bit more. But instead, I got myself some Del Taco for dinner, and I'm going to watch NCIS. I'm on the 6th season right now. I'm rewatching the whole show because I'm really frustrated by the CBS. I wanted to watch the current season, but I can't because the CBS player is acting all wonky, and I really don't like the CBS's player because it always messes around with me. Anyways, I'm on the 6th season. I am really enjoying this rewatch. I actually skipped around the first two because I feel like those first two seasons are a little bit on the boring side. But I would say don't skip them, especially if you're watching the show for the first time, because you might miss some very important parts. I only watched the episodes that I really enjoyed, especially the Ari storyline that they had going on. So once the 3rd season starts, it gets a lot better. I feel like they hit their stride at that point. So I'm just gonna call it quits. I thought I was going to use this as kind of like the starter for the whole coming week, but I think what I'll do is I'll just have this as one own video, and have it put up tomorrow, which will be Sunday the 10th, and then I'll just start from filming there onward, because I like to start things more on a precise fashion. I want to start it when I want it to always begin, if that makes sense. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this isn't as all over the place as I feel like it might be, and that you enjoyed this on some level. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous how this is going to go. So again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.